Finally, we've put together a real Naraka Bladepoint Trios team tier list. I've listed many popular Trios teams for competitive tournament play, as well as more casual rank grinding, and just straight up having fun. But if you want to win, you'll need a good strategy combined with good teamwork. First off, having a good leader is very important. This person is at the front and keeps an eye on how the other teams are performing. They typically play a damage character that wants to engage in the fight first. The rest of the team focuses on what their leader is doing and follows their lead. The second slot is usually for a utility or setup character, one that can help secure kills or cover for the main damage dealer. And playing in the back, you'll need someone strong and dependable who must be aware of what their own team is doing at all times. They typically play a supportive character that can help their team by healing them or getting enemies off of them. After that, you should make sure your team is working with each other, ready to help anyone who finds themselves in a bad situation. Using your gold focus abilities for your teammates is key in preventing them from taking damage from parries, soul jades, or other abilities. Before we get started, keep in mind I've been working on this tier list video for over 3 weeks, and there have been some balance changes to a few characters, most notably the nerf to Wuchen and the buff to Matari. However, almost all of these team compositions have been around for a while, and we can cover new team comps in a later video. With all that being said, let's get into these trio team rankings. We're going to start from the top and go down, so we'll begin with the best team comps in trios right now, and the first one on the list today is Cannonball, which is Yodo, Yueshan, and Faria. This team's focus is to overwhelm enemy teams with back-to-back high-pressure ultimates. Ideally, Yodo calls a kill target, Faria silences them, and Yueshan and Yodo try to kill them quickly, while Faria keeps the rest of the enemies off her team with her third ultimate pillar drop. Yodo uses her ult, and then gets into Faria Mech afterwards to cover for Faria while she builds up rage for her next mech, using silence to set up kills for Yueshan and Yodo and Mech. After the mech goes away, Yueshan can ult to cover for Yodo until Faria's next mech comes up, or he can use it early to counter Viper or Timulch ultimate. This team is very versatile, allowing a lot of alternative strategies depending on what team they're facing or what tough situation they find themselves in. Popular variants include replacing Yodo with Hottie, since Hottie's cube can help keep everyone alive, and this seems to be one of the strongest and most popular variants right now, or replacing Yodo with Valda, since Valda's shield and water spears can help set up kills, or replacing Yodo with Justina, since Justina's freeze dashes can be so deadly in team modes, especially with a mech or Yueshan ultimate on the team. Moving on to our next team, we have the popular Sand Siphon comp of Takeda, Timulch, and Karumi, or Zaiphon. This team can be incredibly difficult to deal with since they have so much sustain through healing from Karumi and Takeda, plus multiple damage prevention methods with Karumi's third skill, Timulch's wisps and tornado, and Takeda's skills that stop blue attacks. The Takeda on this team should be comfortable using a pulse sword for the very high damage potential when using his ultimate, since his demon spirit can guarantee a free blue focus attack. The Timulch must always be mindful of who is on the enemy team before he drops his ultimate, as the Timulch tornado can easily make or break the fight. Karumi is often used here because she's insanely overtuned right now and can heal and prevent thousands of damage simultaneously, but Zaiphon is also a viable option for this team comp if your support is more comfortable using Zaiphon. The next team on our list is known as Zaiphon, or Meteor, and consists of Zai, Matari, and Karumi, or Zaiphon. The idea is Zai uses her skill, then uses her ultimate to refresh her skill cooldown. Zai uses her skill again, then Matari uses her ultimate since it refreshes the skill cooldown of everyone on the team. This lets Zai use her fireball skill a third time in just a few seconds. This team stops so much of the healing happening in the current meta since there's so much fire damage being applied, except against a Karumi since her ultimate circle cleanses debuffs, including fire. As a support player myself, I tend to prefer Zaiphon in this comp since she can capitalize on fighting a little more than Karumi, and Zai constantly sets up kills, but Karumi may be the safer option. Skirmisher is Viper Tessa Wuchen, and this team is particularly deadly in tournament lobbies where the pace of the game is a little different from ranked mode. This team focuses on separating and locking down members of an enemy team, prioritizing the one that would give them the most trouble, and killing them as fast as possible with Viper's third ultimate to silence them, Viper's third skill to deal high damage to them quickly and break their guard, and Tessa's ultimate can either help secure the first kill to snowball the fight, or easily clean up after the first kill. Wuchen's job is to have a port down to get his team out if anything bad happens, and usually the team will want Wuchen's ultimate before Viper's, so if an enemy Timulch ults at the beginning of the fight, let Wuchen port the team out, then come back and Viper ult. Don't Viper ult inside the Timulch tornado. This team has a hit and run style and prefers not to fight without ultimates. That's it for our best tier. They're in no particular order, and these 4 teams are easily the best trios team comps you could pick right now in any given situation, and they have good synergy while still being able to deal with each other. Now we're going to look at the next tier down, the good teams. These ones are maybe not as easy to play as the best teams, but they're still viable classics that have withstood the test of time. First in the good tier is Attack on Titan, consisting of Viper, Yodo, and Wuchen. This team uses Viper's second skill for the long silence and her first ultimate for the long stun. These abilities function well for locking down an opponent or team for Yodo's high damage ultimate. This team is also very hit and run, and this team usually doesn't want to fight without their ultimates. This team tends to avoid Realm of Yang in favor of going for a Blessing or Spirit Well, since they don't function in Realm of Yang fights as well as Cannonball, Siphon, or Meteor. This team is more focused on finding third-party opportunities or looking for weaker, out-of-position teams to pick off. The second team to go into the good tier will be traditional Transformers made of Monk, Yueshan, and Kurumi. For a long time, this was the most dominant trios team comp in competitive Naraka, but now we have so many characters that can effectively counter Transformers, and teams that can survive through just about anything, so the traditional comp struggles to keep up in today's competitive trios. With this team, Kurumi will use her first ultimate so she can heal her transformed teammates' health bars, but she still takes third skill because the value of the defense reduction is so high. As long as the Monk and Yueshan don't use their ultimates at the same time, and they make sure they lock enemies down for the teammate that is an ultimate, they can effectively deal with many other teams and put out massive amounts of damage while still having decent survivability. Next up we have Sandformers, the team of Monk, Yueshan, and Timulch. With this team, the Monk capitalizes on Timulch's ultimate to secure multiple grabs quickly and easily cleaning up fights. The Yueshan ultimate carries the team to the next round of Monk and Timulch ultimates, and these don't have to be used at the same time. Sometimes any single ultimate on this team is all you need to win a fight, giving them very good versatility. Moving on to our last good tier team, we're looking at Mech, the team of Monk, Timulch, and Feria. This team embodies versatility, always rotating high power ultimates that aid each other's ultimates, but are strong enough on their own to only have to use one at a time if they need to. Feria can get in her own mech if she wants, but Monk may also want to get in if he's in trouble after his ultimate ends. The Timulch can set up lots of free damage from Feria or Monk with his wisps and his ultimate, and this team excels in Realm of Yang with many good matchups. This brings us to the next tier down, the decent tier. These teams are not really tournament viable, but good and ranked and can be very fun to play. First up is Skill Spam, the team of Tessa, Justina, and a damage character like Takeda, or someone that can cancel their ultimate to retain rage like Yodo or Hadi, or even a support character like Zaiphon or Kurumi can go good in this team. This team stacks Justina's third ultimate on top of Tessa's first ultimate to constantly control enemies and make it nearly impossible for them to get their soul back from the Tessa enchant while suppressing them with Justina's freeze area. Since Tessa's ult only costs 60% and Justina's costs 50%, these abilities can be used incredibly often, though if they are properly capitalized on by the team, this team has potential to get a lot of kills. The next team on the list is a classic. We're putting Wombo into the decent tier. Valda, Viper, and Monk, or any other damaging character like Yodo, is an easy team to play and get kills with, but a very weak team in between dumping ultimates. This is because they rely on Valda's first ultimate to set up a free stun, with Viper's first ultimate and or free grabs with Monk for an easy one-sided fight. Beware though, this team is infamous for being low skill, and your enemies will surely get mad and complain about losing to this team, since all they get to do is spam E to break out of Valda wave before spamming E to break out of Monk grab, or just getting stunned and killed with no counterplay. This team really doesn't want to fight without ultimates and is pretty good in Realm of Yang. One Wombo variant that is pretty fun to use utilizes Akos' third ultimate combined with Viper's first ultimate for a stun in a cage. You can use a support or another utility character here. Even another damage dealer can help secure the kills on the caged and stunned enemy team. Alright, next let's check out Hypercarry, which is a strong damage character like Tarka, Akos, or Zai, and two of the three healing supports, Kurumi, Zaiphon, or Wuchen. This team relies on their one strong damage character to be the most aggressive player on the team, using their ultimate as much as possible and taking all the soul blooms to keep it up. They should have the best weapon and armor on the team, and they're responsible for helping their healers and securing the kills. This is another very fun team to use, especially if you are the one that gets to play the damage character. This last category is for team comps that are fun to use, but not necessarily good. The first one is Flashbang, and it's not as much a team comp as it is a play that you make when running AOT. With Flashbang, you'll want to place a Wuchen port on an active fight, or a team that is standing still from just finishing a fight or shopping at a rift dealer. Then start Viper first ultimate, wait a second or two, Wuchen port into the enemy, and enjoy your free stun. This is incredibly fun to do, but it's very risky to use your Wuchen port and Viper stun at the same time for an offensive play. Next is Kidnap comp, made of Liam, Tessa, and Wuchen. The main focus is Liam's second ultimate, capturing an enemy, just as Wuchen ports the team far away, preferably into a building or onto a cliff. This makes an easy 3v1 on a separated enemy and is absolutely hilarious. The Tessa can be changed out for pretty much anyone, but Tessa does well to keep the kidnapped enemy locked down if they use their ultimate or something, as well as helping to clean up the remaining two enemies after. Triple support is also going into the troll tier. This is Bing, Karumi, and Wuchen. This team can be very good, but they have no offensive abilities that help them win fights. They only heal and have very limited peel for each other. They must be aware of their surroundings, must know how to fight every ultimate in the game from neutral, and must be able to use soul jades effectively to help them secure kills. The last team on the list I've generalized as comfort picks. This is just an example of a comfort picks team I've played many times. It's just the main character of the 3 people on your team. They might not necessarily synergize super well, but if you know how to use a particular hero very well, you may be surprised at the ways you can combine their power with another 2 people who are on their main characters. There is sometimes some clashing in the effects of abilities, like Shyle first ultimate getting interrupted by basically anyone else's attacks, but there's usually a way to work around it, like waiting until Shyle's first ultimate does its damage before you hit her target. We've just had some balance changes to a few of these characters, so these team comps may be changing soon, but for the end of Season 12, these are some of the best and most popular trios teams that people play in ranked mode and in competitive tournaments. If you disagree with any of these placements or have a team comp in mind that I didn't mention here, leave it in a comment and we can talk about it. Please like and subscribe and join the channel if you want to support future content. 差不多就这样. I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all in the next one.